Hello everyone, Queen Jaxus here, and welcome to my Overwatch 2 TED Talk. I've been playing this game almost every day recently, and I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time, but I always end up postponing it. But I have been having strong opinions lately, so I want to voice them today. I feel like to better prove my point, I think it's necessary to explain where I came from and what type of player I am, and how much I love the franchise. I kinda slept on Overwatch when it came out in 2016. I'm not the biggest fan of PvP games, especially back then, but now I'm a little bit more open to them. But I had a lot of friends ROL who got super into it, so much so that I wanted to give the game a try and understand why they love it so much. Sadly for everyone, my PC couldn't run it, my graphics card wasn't strong enough. But I didn't give up. I played Overwatch on console on a friend's PlayStation occasionally, and that's where I first fell in love with the game. So many colorful characters and each felt so unique and have a different playstyle. And they had characters that could perform well without needing high mechanical skills, so I was pretty happy. In 2016 I finally got a new computer and that's when I started playing on PC. I believe it was actually the day that Break came out. I know, dark times. But I played Overwatch almost every single day for at least a couple hours. I always played it very casually though, I never tried to be super good at the game. I was happy with the simple things, like getting gold medals, helping the team, and I have always tried to have fun interactions with both teams. I've met really awesome friends through Overwatch and that's what made the game special to me. I didn't play a lot of comp, but I have always been mid to high gold player. I never cared much for my rank, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I was a quick play handy. Another thing that I always looked forward was every event. Events meant new skins and cosmetics that were time limited to it, and it gave me a reason to grind as much as possible to unlock the things that I wanted to unlock, for pretty much free anyways. Long story short, I enjoyed Overwatch 1 because of the diversity of characters and playstyles, the social interactions, of how casual the game felt, and I really appreciated the cosmetics in the game too. I always loved the lore and the occasional PvE events such as Retribution and Junkerstein's Revenge. I stopped playing in 2021 when they decided to focus on the PvE, which I'm very hyped for, and stopped updating the PvP game. No new heroes, no maps, barely any balance patches, so I moved on to play something else, like Fortnite for example. Overwatch 2 came out a few months ago and you can say that it was a culture shock. They made it free to play, which brings more people to try the game and play it, but as a result they got rid of the loot box system, and now you have a battle pass, because of course they do, and also a rotating item shop. All the previous free skins are now 10 to 20 bucks. So of course it felt wrong. I'm not going too deep into the monetization issues in this game because not only there's a lot of videos on YouTube tackling this issue, but I know the team is working really hard to improve its system and things are going to be better later down the line for everyone. However, this change does impact the way that I appreciate the game. Before, I grinded a lot during events to get the new skins, but now I look at the new stuff and I'm not happy to see them because I know that they're gonna cost a lot of money for just one skin, for example. So I simply ignore them now. I'm no longer hyped for the new skins. Now, there were a lot of balance changes moving from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, and some characters got completely reworked, like Orisa and Doomfist. All the new changes were welcome and exciting. However, there was one in particular that I'm still not sure on how I feel about it, and that is 5v5. 1 tank, 2 DPS, and 2 support. The previous 6v6 format had multiple issues. Before Roku were introduced, there were GOATs, free tanks and free support, and nobody would die and battles lasted forever. Then, with Roku, double shield became a problem and very annoying to deal with. So 5v5 in a way made it better because those annoying comps no longer exist because you only have one tank. But the new format brings new problems. They buff tanks to a point where they feel like absolute titans, they deal a lot of damage and are very tanky. The team is now even more exposed to characters like Widowmaker and Sojourn that are the bigger problems now, being able to easily deal one-shots to squishies. So in other words, everyone is much more impactful to this game. Now, some people may argue that this is a good change, but I have to disagree. It's easier to solo carry a game now, and you know what that means? It's easier to get stomped or to stomp an entire team. If the enemy team has a good Widowmaker, it's GG. You pretty much lost the game. Now, of course, you can always try to counter them and be able to flip the tides of the battle, but you have to have a well-coordinated team or good teammates that know how to handle the situation. If you don't have good teammates, or if you're not good enough to handle her, it's over. You cannot do anything. Most matches in Overwatch 2 feel very one-sided, and that is exactly the root of that problem. If you're not performing as well as the enemy team, you're gonna get diffed and the team loses because they were better than you. While the 6v6 format, if they had a good Widowmaker, they could still dominate. However, it was easier for the losing team to recover and still push forward. It didn't solely depend on the better Widow as it feels now. 6v6 were also annoying because if you were a god DPS, you could still lose because of your teammates. But at the same time, if you were doing terrible, your teammates could still win. So it was okay to try new heroes or play a different role and underperform a little because remember, the most important aspect of the game was to have fun and do what you want to do. In Overwatch 2, if you're underperforming, the team is gonna feel it and you will be stomped and lose the game by a landslide. That makes the game feel much more sweaty and competitive than it needs to be. Quick play matches feel like I'm playing comp and everyone is just tryharding. It doesn't feel fair and fun anymore, and you get heavily punished if you decide to try a new hero or play a different role than you're used to. For example, I'm a main support. I play a lot of Mercy and Moira. But if I decide to play DPS, I'm not gonna have a fun time. I want to be better at playing other roles, but I don't want to try hard, because if I do, I'm not gonna have a good mindset when playing. Maybe 5v5 felt right if the matchmaking were better. And speaking of, the matchmaking sucks right now. The team is working on ways to improve it, and I think it's slightly better on Season 3, but there's still a long ways to go. I'll try to explain it as simple as I can, but I'm not really the best person to explain this type of thing. You should watch Flats or someone who plays the game more professionally to explain this type of thing, but I'll try my best to keep it simple. So basically there's a hidden number called MMR. I think it stands for matchmaking rating. This number is determined by your win and lose rate. So if you win a lot, the game will know that you're winning and will put you against higher skill levels whose MMR is also getting bigger to try to balance your matches. In a match, they will try to balance the teams with their MMRs. For example, if you have a high MMR, there will be someone with similar MMR on their side. Before it was random to the role, so if you were a high MMR tank, they could have a high MMR DPS or support. Now they try to balance between the same role. For example, high MMR tank goes against a high MMR tank. It's definitely an improvement, but the system still has a lot of flaws. For example, imagine that I'm playing with my friends who are very good at the game. I'm playing as a DPS, so my MMR should be low because I'm a terrible DPS. If I start winning a lot with my friends, my MMR on DPS is going to be higher than it should be, because I was pretty much carried by my friends. So, if I'm playing DPS later by myself, guess what? I'm going against DPSs who are much better than I am. And what have I stated before? If the DPS is better than you, it's GG. The games feel very unfair most of the time because of how this system works. I hope that they work on making the matches feel more fair, because in the end, I don't really care about winning or losing, as far as the games feel fun and fair for everyone. In conclusion, despite all of these issues, I'm hopeful for the future of Overwatch 2. Right now, most of my emotions toward this game is dreadfulness, and sometimes I even feel punished for even playing the game. I quit the game feeling defeated and unaccomplished every day. But I know the devs are working hard to make the game feel more fun and rewarding for everyone, and maybe one day the game is gonna feel more fair. I also cannot wait for the PvE campaign to come out because I absolutely love co-op games, and they gave us a little taste of story mode in the Archives event, and those felt really awesome. So expanding the game to include a less competitive focused game mode is going to please the more casual side of the player base, aka people like me. It's gonna be awesome to have a different game mode that will take a breather out of the PvP game and still be able to play Overwatch. Hope you guys enjoyed my small rant on Overwatch 2, and let me know in the comments below how you feel about the current state of Overwatch 2 and what you expect to see in the future. Don't forget to also like this video and subscribe to my channel for more of me. Ta-ta for now!